What a sight! And at a supermarket, too. A whole wall of pink, white, and yellow. Exotic lilies like I'd never seen before, all stripe and polka dots. Such extraordinary gaudy beauty in such an ordinary place. Lilies were never a favorite, but how could I resist? Especially one called Stargazer. For the price of a bag of chips, it was well worth bringing one home for my tiny curbside garden. I planted it that same day to share with all the passers-by, human and otherwise, hopeful of some monarch or Red Admiral's noblesse oblige. About this same time a friend was falling ill. Distance has made us no less fond, but time had come between us. We'd not seen each other or spoken in quite a while. By the next day, Stargazer's first flower was joined by a second's showy opening. Yet another bud was now also plainly held aloft with even greater promise. In truth, the plant was a bit too grand for its surroundings. The little oblong patch had only just started to look better than an invitation for a weed whacking. But finally my horticulture experiment had paid off. Goldfinches gathered tufts of thistledown for their nests. Bees and butterflies supped from fledgling buddleia bushes. Where once only dandelions, crabgrass, and plantain thrived, blue ironweed, wild carrot, and fancy variegated grass guarded the perimeter. Wayward feet thus dissuaded, safely the wild violets, hosta, common daylilies, mounds of impatience and wandering Jew, hold court at the base of our locust tree. As I gazed at it with satisfaction, watering can in hand, I did not know that my friend had worsened and was gravely ill. The next morning I stood out on the sidewalk astonished. Stargazer's flowers were gone, all stolen in the night. Somehow I could not be angry. It had been a calculated risk to put something so grand out there at all. The plant itself seemed unharmed, still sturdy and steadfastly green. But somehow I felt in shock, as if something else was missing, something taken out of the world just as suddenly and finally. I would soon learn that my friend had died. Her husband had had the presence of mind to email all his distant pals to break the news. The following days sadly blurred together in weepy worry for the man. Years ago, his beloved wife had gotten stern with me about being too overprotected of them both. Far from needing respite from their many admirers, she gathered them to her like a mother hen, or more aptly, a mother tiger. There in the hot, lush jungle of a Floridian courtyard she mellowed, insisting mother tigers need no protecting. In her gentling protest, she made me understand just how happy she was with her life as she was living it. How much, even after all their decades together, she was still in love with the love and loving she'd been blessed with. What was there in that to be commiserated about, or be protected from? I basked in the glow of her joie de vivre. The memory will always make me smile. By that Sunday, it struck me that all I really could do was send flowers for her memorial the next day. The funeral home suggested a local florist website. When its flowery page opened, I sat back stunned. It was filled with Stargazer lilies. Still shaking my head over the coincidence, I sought the solace of my garden, plucking up all the new little locust trees from where they never could grow. My foot felt something hidden in the grass. What had I trod on? The bud from Stargazer. It had been taken along with the other flowers, but then broken off and thrown away. It had lain there for days, dried out, stepped on, ruined. I held it in my hands like a fallen bird, apologizing to it for its cruel fate. I took it inside, freshly cut the stem, and placed it in some water, thinking myself foolish for even hoping it might still have some life left in its sorry state. But the next morning, a thick, sweet, musky smell like vanilla and ocean spray awakened me coughing from my night's sleep. Sputtering, I squinted across the room. There in the dim was Stargazer flowering. At that instant, the morning sun found its way past a curtain's edge, confirming that I wasn't imagining it or still in a dream. The flowers at the market had been a glorious discovery. The flower that bloomed the next day in my garden, a blessing. But the bud that now promised yet more to come, this was a miracle. If such a flower could speak, what would it say? Why mourn yesterday because it could not stay, or not live today since it too will be stolen all too quickly away? Freshly cut the stem of each tomorrow. Offer it all your life's living, even knowing that it can never again be the day it was before. This is our task, to persevere through pain and prosper from sorrow, to take root yet again in joy, and grow always from loving. Stargazers all, we flower, and are glad to be worthy of the harvest to come.